So once this passes in the Senate, is there any guarantee the House will rush it to the president's desk? As we await the Senate to vote to end the government shutdown, and we'll let you know the second it begins, let's ask a member of the House, Congressman Jason Lewis of Minnesota. Congressman, is this going to pass? Are you guys sure? Can you guarantee it will pass in the House?
And it's already passed once. I mean, I think it'll get to the House this afternoon, and we'll deal with it pretty quickly and get it to the president's desk.
You just heard Adam Shapiro talk about how perhaps, and it's all in perception depending on which side you sit on, that Senator McConnell really gave a lifeline to Senator Chuck Schumer and the Democrats by getting them out of a mess that in part, you could argue, they created. Chris Coons, the senator from Delaware, specifically said this, quote, "I'm encouraged by the commitment Senator Mitch McConnell has made." Do you know what that commitment might be? Can you shed some light on this?
No, I don't. It doesn't look like it's much different than what they went in with last Friday. The fact of the matter is the American people were not for putting in this poison pill in a clean CR that kept the government open, that reauthorized CHIP permanently, that delayed the medical device tax. That was a bill that everyone should have supported. We passed it in the House, and the Senate Democrats held it up. They didn't have the backing of the American people, and so now they wisely, I think, chose to reopen the government, which is the right thing to do for the American people. So I think we need to act on it as quickly as we can. But as far as the deal goes, it doesn't look any different than it did last week.
Except, could you argue that Mitch McConnell has said and encouraged and promised that by February 8th, the length of this continuing resolution, there will be a deal and a vote on and for DACA, the dreamers, the so-called children of undocumented workers who have lived here their whole life?
What we've got to get a deal on is the budget. We've got to get a global budget passed. The House has passed all 12 appropriations bills. It's sitting over there in the Senate. That's what we have to do so we don't have another continuing resolution. We were always working on immigration law, but that's totally separate than the appropriations process. So will we continue to do that? Representative Goodlatte out of the Judiciary Committee has a bill. We're going to look at that in the House. That was always going to happen. That's why their strategy fell flat. Everybody knew that was a separate item, and we were working on it anyway.
Well, I guess, listen, there are people on the other side who say that it was Representative Goodlatte who, along with other representatives like David Perdue, kind of derailed it in the office when they were talking about it, and it was what President Trump had initially said he would do. But putting that quickly aside...
No, they tried to surprise the president with a deal that they knew he would never go for.
When you see this Senate vote to move it to the final vote of 81 to 18, what does that say to you?
Well, it says to me that there were a few people that wanted to vote aye on reopening the government. That's what it says to me. Otherwise, they might have done it through unanimous consent or something. But I do think they were on the wrong side of history on this, and I'm glad to see the government's reopening.
Congressman, thanks for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
Jason Lewis.